Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yay. Good afternoon. Happy Friday.
Pura vida.
Okay, wait, just slowly, Michael, slowly. Happy Friday, Venus Friday, Ascension time. Let me just adjust this real quick. Hello, Tori. So much love, sister. Is that good? Can you hear us well during is the audio well here? We're trying to see if the reception is good up here. Yeah. Oh, so much love. Hi everyone that is on the line. So much love and gratitude for being with us on this Venus Friday 222 StarGate. We have so much to share with you and can hardly wait to.
I can hear, but the top of your heads are cut off.
Oh, is it? Okay, how about this?
That's better.
Is that better?
Yeah, because this is the screen right here.
Which one is?
The dark one right there. It's right here.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Thank you. So, and the audio is good. Okay, wonderful. Well, gosh, hi everyone. I love that this morning, Michael and I, first thing on the road, this 2-hour drive, we had to have the tea ready. So as soon as we arrive, we have our tea. We haven't had our first sip of tea. Michael, this is ginger. It's strong.
Strong.
No honey, none of that. We don't have any of those luxuries. Hi, Dimitri. So much love. Hello, Dan. So much love. Thank you so much for joining us. How is everyone? You have your teas? Are you drinking with us? Hello, Natalia. Thank you so much for joining us. Wow. Michael, are you sitting? I feel like you're a little far from each other. How you want to come closer? Or should we be like this? You're probably going to be like, okay, that's good. We have so much to share with you. Hi, Demetrius. You're renewed now. Thank goodness. Thank you. I'm so glad to know that. Wow. Where do we start?
Well, why don't we start where we are? Because I'm sure people are curious.
You probably want to know, okay, where did you all end up?
I think we should lift the computer and just give it one.
Okay, so let's just see where we are. We just arrived here. The volcano is right there, but the volcano is there. The volcano has, one second, the volcano has been active the last 2 weeks, so there's a lot of smoke. Tomorrow. And it's quite dry. You may have seen we are not in Brazil. Some of you know that we were supposed to be, we left for Miami, and that's a little too much. We left for Miami, then here. Okay, so we left for Miami, and then as soon as we arrived in Miami, Mr. Michael went through his frequency light update, and he was down for a good week to 8 days. And just like many of you that have been going through your frequency light update, he had to get updated. And it was very important because he was between the experience the week before that with the channeling the masters. For some of you that received the video, you know what powerful message came through Master Hilarion of the fifth ray of the Kohans of the ray of light. And that, and not just for me, I've been through quite a bit of healing transformation myself, and those who participated, I received a lot of messages from people who had attended the event, and also the ones that watched the video, how much it impacted it. And then Michael was busy holding the space. Then I had the light code.
Holding the space for you as when you went through your updates.
My exact. Well, I didn't go through any of the physical stuff, but the emotional stuff. Exactly.
It's powerful to really see when big messages and transformations come through of what follows afterwards, especially as your body and emotions are going through that frequency. Just a bug.
A friendly one. So then I also had the light code transmission activation activation event at Crystal Cognizant, which several of you attended, which is very grateful. And that was extremely powerful for those that experienced it. And of course, that diamond frequency all of us entered into. I'm so grateful to that, because that was another level. So by the time we got to Miami, as soon as we arrived, Michael had to rest, a necessary rest. So we had an event. Michael couldn't participate. Some of you that you know had he had a day of Archangel Michael healing. He couldn't also function with that. That was on Saturday. So I went through with our inner divine sacred love meditation, facilitated that at the sanctuary, which was beautiful, and then everything was packed, everything was ready to go on Saturday, as we had very early flight for Brazil the next day, and everything's been scheduled for 3 weeks of quite a bit for Brazil, including planetary work for today, 222. So what is so interesting is that all day Saturday, I kept feeling, wow, I don't know if Michael can get on the airplane. Like, he's still not quite well, and it's a long flight from Miami. I was very concerned with that, like quite a bit concerned all day. And hello, Nancy, thank you for joining. And so all day was that, and then the next day, Sunday, my brother was arriving. So we ended up packing everything. We, got ready to be able to leave for the next day early morning flight. Let me just back up, because this is very interesting. As we arrived to Miami, Michael, let's say in our 3D dimensional reality, Michael got sick. My new necklace that you guys saw from 2 weeks ago, as soon as we were, this dropped and broke. It's broken right now. Then at the event, the Archangel Michael Ascension card caught on fire. So we knew there was a lot of energies that were being transmuted, and it was just so fascinating. These are all just before it. So Saturday night, just before we go to bed, and I was busy running around all the stuff, last minute things to get before we go. So we we're set and ready to go. About 9 o'clock, a voice told me, let me take a picture of my passport, of my visa. So as I came to take a picture, suddenly I saw that I looked at Michael, and this this moment of pure shock took over. I saw the passport that I had with me was my new passport. My older passport, which was left back in Washington, D.C., had the 10-year visa, not my new passport. So imagine right in that second, I looked at Michael, and it's like, you're like dazed, don't even know what to do, where to go, like the shock and the disbelief. Yet at that same time, right away, I knew this was not an interference. I knew this was not, it was so almost like ridiculous, because I've been bugging Michael about the past 2 months. Did you get your visa? 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 Your visa, like, it's online, da 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 da, go to the consulate. And here I was with my passport, not even for a second, not even for a second did I consider um, checking just on my passport. So it was so interesting, but not even did I consider this was an interference, or it was something horrific, anything like that. I knew right away it was divinely protected, and somehow we were at a dead stop not to go. My brother was flying it, and we knew something bigger was taking place.
And it
And
happened on a Saturday night, which obviously Sunday early morning we had our flight, so obviously nothing could be sent on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Until we learned that you can send something on a Sunday for $500 same day, but that wouldn't have made our flight. And then Monday happened to be President's Day, which the embassy was closed because we were
The
still
consulate was
the
closed.
consulate was closed, which we were still researching if we can use an expired
But
embassy.
hold on, before even that, because as soon as it happened, where we're staying at my family house, there is no internet. So about 9:30 p.m., we just grabbed the laptop and right away went to Starbucks just to see, okay, what is the first thing? So imagine we have our reservations, the Airbnb we booked, the car rental, everything, and just taking the first step. Like, how do we do they? Can we even change our passport? And can we change um, our flight, letting the passport go? So you could imagine that. So all of that we started looking into till about midnight, and we realized that there's nothing we could do till Monday going to the consulate, but we didn't even know it was closed until Sunday.
Right, because of President's Day. And I find what's really, really interesting is, you know, Honi has done an amazing amount of planning for it, more planning than I could ever possibly imagine because of the contacts that she has in Brazil and just her just a powerful ability to organize and her powerful ability to really just take every element into complete work mode. And what was really interesting is to have everything to a T
Planned, organized, everything.
organized, and the amount of preparation that we had, which I would say in our history of our union, we worked as hard as we possibly could. Events were back to back, which were just due to scheduling of snowstorm, East Coast weather. Long story short, it couldn't have been more of a what we would call a perfect storm because everything was like to the tier of like, okay, this is planned, this is planned, this is planned. But the one smallest little piece that wasn't in the flux was an old expired passport which had the permission to go to Brazil, and then that energy to be unfolded on the night before the flight in a time period where no mail could be sent down was just is comical to look at of how the universe aligned it because knowing us we would do everything possible. I mean, flights were cheap
And we
enough.
did,
We
and
would
we
get on a
did.
flight, I mean, whatever it was, because for all those that are from abroad, we were in Miami getting ready to fly out and her passport was in DC. We came down to Miami 5 days earlier to do an event, to work, and just to have everything nice and
For a
smooth
month,
and easy,
organized.
organized, so we could just so we can just prepare ourselves. And just knowing what I was going through on a personal level, I've never felt anything in my own experience of not really a cold, just an exhaustion of just my body moving through some very powerful transformations of weakness, fatigue, lack of sleep, heat flashes, and just a very body pain, but
pains
very
and
different
headaches.
than a flu because there was no not nauseous vomiting. There was nothing in a sense of temperature other than at night when I couldn't fall asleep. So it was powerful to see how the pieces were all coming and then to understand how the universe then was going to enable this because we both said in our prayers that whatever we can do to follow the signs. If we're meant to still go to Brazil, please show us the easiest route. If we're meant to stay, if we're meant to go somewhere, show us what exactly we can do because the next steps, as you can imagine, are then the full planning and reaction to energy that we're just like in shock, but yet not in a reactionary,
In a very
emotional,
grateful way. It was so interesting because like put yourself in that position. What do? You've planned a month of your travel. You've paid for so much. You've organized everything and all of that, and then I know I'm experienced this several times. No problem. It changes, and for us, this 222 was important where we would position, especially working with this plasma ray. So it's so interesting how loving universe shifted things around, but within that shift, a lot of things come up. The first thing, it was just first gratefulness. And I was very grateful to Michael. He didn't say, "Oh my God, you didn't check that." It was just, it was just this place like, wow, like something totally stopped us. And we knew it was the work of the angels. So the next morning we
well, and
decided,
and and just for a personal level, I really felt when experiences happen like this, it's a really good testament
yeah,
as how we react, how we surrender, and how we accept what happens. And I thought what was really interesting in our conscious relationship is, if I was not conscious, if I was coming from a place of anger, disappointment, a place of blame, it would have been very easy for me to turn around and get upset at Honey for the fact that the ironic nature that for many weeks and months, Honey kept, asking me about my visa, asking about my visa because I chose to do a different way, which I've learned, when you do it the old-fashioned way and go down to the embassy versus the faster way of going on the internet, that you have it stamped in your book. Long story short, because I had my visa already, and Honey was getting on me for many, many weeks. Okay, did you have your visa? Did you have your visa? And me having actually the visa to go down, and then the ironic nature that all of a sudden Honey did not have her visa. It could have been very easily, if I was unconscious, if I was coming from my head, and just coming from a very arrogant place, then then that could have created more problems, because many people, when they're in that position, can easily get upset, can easily lose it and be like, what happened, and question why it didn't happen, because very easily, hindsight 2020, when we look back and look at, well, what happened, what didn't happen, it didn't matter. All we had to do at that moment, and all I had to do really, was just step back and look from a larger lens of like, okay, does this happen? What is the next step to do? And I felt it was a very powerful moment to see how we were going to work together, and what we were going to do as a union to not only move through this, but not to get upset, because somewhere there is the natural disappointment. Somewhere there is that, wow, all these weeks and months, especially what Honey has planned, to really just allow the emotions and energy to come fully out. So I felt like we did a very
I feel we did a really amazing job, and we went to bed in peace. We said, okay, like it's in the hands of angels. For some reason, they didn't want us to go to Brazil at this time. Maybe it's in a couple months, but whatever it is, there's a dead stop to it. We don't know why this moment. And I wanted to ask, I was like, you need to tell me, you need to show me why. And you've changed it. Okay, I don't feel we're supposed to be in Miami. We have to be somewhere else to help us figure this out. So we went to bed, and next morning we decided to go to the airport just to see if they can maybe assist with the flight for our next destination, but they didn't refund us. So, there's also a lot of that, the money you've paid up front, and, a lot of it, it's just off to, the universe because they don't refund you. So anyway, that's another part that was very important how we handled it, and we were both amazing. We're like, okay, it's in universe's hand, it comes and goes, no problem. And that's another part of the relationship. Often you can get very mad, oh my god, we lost this much money, da da da. That was not in our case at all. In our case, first was gratitude, greater hands took place, let's take next step. So when we went to the airport, it didn't work out. We knew right away, okay, we have to rent a car because my brother is arriving. And then over the next few days, we'll figure out where we're going to be. And there was a relief in that. We picked up my brother. We had a chance to spend time with him. And that was so healing. It was so wonderful those couple of days. And then taking our first step, and we kept being in gratefulness. It took Michael about two full, 3 more days till he was totally well. I said, wow, look at that. There's no way you could have been even on the airplane. So after that, we started taking one step at a time to see where we would want to go. And it's so interesting, last minute deciding to go somewhere where we planned things before. And there's a message in it. What happens when you've planned things ahead? Like, let's say you have a full month plan ahead and everything falls apart, and you don't have the extra money that you put into it to spend it otherwise. Else, where are you going to go? And then somehow there's this other calling, you got to still fulfill this, whatever this planetary stargate be in it. Yet we're not working so much planetary anymore, but there's one portion of it we still are. So it was just such a multi-dimensional dynamic, and a lot of our emotions feeling. I felt for the first couple of days a lot of gratitude, and all of that took place till we started looking into where we got to be, and we felt we met a lot of resistance and blocks and what have you. And it was then also the opportunity to talk through every single one of them, things that came up in me, things that came up in Michael, and just again to speak through it until finally it was Wednesday that my brother and I had a heart to heart, and we had a really personal heart to heart conversation where I really broke into tears, and I recognized this whole thing was divinely orchestrated just so that my brother can arrive, so we can have this time together with Michael, because since he's had his wife and his baby, we just haven't had that time. And he was alone, and we really got to bond and have this amazing heart to heart, and just, oh my God, so much love and support. And we really saw that, wow, the angels orchestrated just so my brother arrived. Michael and I can be there for my brother, what he needs for his heart before we can go anywhere. And then it seemed that Costa Rica was the place for us to be in. And here we are in Costa Rica. So we arrived yesterday, and it's been kind of interesting because last minute so much is booked up, just trying to even find places. And we met a lot of synchronicity, a lot of also some what we would call bumps, and also seeing that. And I feel like I got a little pulled and stretched. They're very loud, aren't they? Huh? La, 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 la. Those are the cleaner individuals. I felt like I got a chance to also experience a lot of the frustration when you don't there's no internet working at the place. There's the phone reception is not working, and we haven't been able to communicate with you guys. And there's all of these things happening. Then I have all these emails, the people are asking for sessions. They're trying to communicate with Michael. Michael is not quite well yet. And then there's like we're trying to in the middle of so much figuring out, yet trying to also organize where to be and get higher guidance. We keep sitting in meditation. Did you get anything? Did you get anything? And this back and forth. Did you get anything? Quite an incredible experience. So we haven't had the opportunity yet to even talk to you guys, to tell you what's going on, yet also experiencing the fullness of the super full moon and everything that also was brought up in that place. Quite quite an enriching experience to now arrive here, 2 hours drive, get here finally settled before we go down to the coast.
And it's powerful because I feel it's really a testament, and as I read up earlier.
Hi, Mariam John.
Thank you, Demetrius. It is a testament of when something comes up and there's a choice that has to be made, what obstacle, what hurdle, and what energy wants to come in to pull and really try to make more of the situation than what really is. And I felt like Honey and I did a very powerful job of not only just accepting it face on, because there's many levels, from the denial to the shock to the disbelief to the angry to the guilt to the blame. There's all these phases that can run through a normal reaction when these things occur. Yet what I really admire with us is the ability that when we just simply mere accept, okay, this has happened, without fighting it, without trying to sit in ways to and be in disbelief, it really drew us in a manner of like, wow, look where we are now, look what's happening, and look what's evolving through our own ability just to surrender and honor, and most important, trust that whatever is coming forward, not to fight it, not to battle it, not to create some type of problem, not to create some type of drama, but just to really accept that. And yes, in some aspects, people can look at, oh, well, Brazil, Costa Rica, how grateful, honored. It's beyond that. It's really like when there's such a investment, when there is such a plan, when there's such an energy that's been built up for so many days and weeks and months, and you're on the pinnacle of about to just like jump off and to dive into what and I saw as a big part of our journey together, especially in Brazil, how powerful it is within to really just accept every single piece without going back and trying to discredit it or try to argue or try to fight it. Like, to me, it gives such a empowering energy to say, wow, when life changes, when things happen at last
Or when the
moment,
rug is pulled under you, can you just stay there and
because many times
let it all go, and really the freedom of letting it all go?
because many times, whether any of us, and I wrote this earlier this morning, when there's any chaotic moment, when there's any storm, when we can just stay in the middle of that I and just stay calm, then we're not giving our power away. And many times we disempower ourselves by allowing ourselves to be pulled into directions because we're not accepting it.
Yeah, and there is that we're not exempt because we've met with disappointments, and of course we also address that disappointment. The friends in Fernopolis that we're waiting to meet in Alto Paraiso, in in Brasilia, and all the everything that was planned, and that excitement, and also just few of the things, and then it didn't suddenly very last happen, it didn't happen, and just to accept that, recognizing the universe is not against you, universe is for you. You don't quite have all the information, but there is something greater, and there's that trust. Do you have trust in divine plan that there's a reason why this has happened? And I feel that that's the one thing that Michael and I do have that. And it was so amazing because the very next day, just as we went to the ocean to see the sunrise, and I got out of the car, I said, Michael, there's, without a shadow of the doubt, I know we are so loved and protected. And right in that second, I'm going to show you this. On the By my foot, there was this unk on the floor. So I grabbed it and I looked at Michael, and it's like, of course, the confirmations, and took a picture of it. And this unk right there, we knew, we didn't have all the details, but we knew somehow we were protected not to go. Not sure why right now in Brazil. It wasn't right now, not it wasn't that for us not to go. We will go soon, but just in that moment. And then the other part of it was to go back in and communicate with the higher guys, the Ascension team. Okay, so what's happening? The one thing that I got, and Michael, you can speak to, the one thing that I got was this: we desperately needed rest, just rest. No service to anyone, no service to really anything, anyone. And Brazil would not have been that. We needed our own time rest because it's been a tremendous service with events, with healing sessions, with so much. And so that was the number one thing. The number two was when I had my own code with this clear crystal liquid dragon. The one thing I learned about plasma ray, this new body template, again, like I had mentioned, some of you have followed, it's a new template. I don't quite have a handle of the frequency of this yet. And they said to me that, remember how your body had to become a diamond before you went to Brazil. Now it's just the next level. So I have to marinate in this. I have to really anchor in it and become sustainable in this new template of this plasma ray that I'm still not. And that's where they said there's a protective shield around you. That's the only thing I got. This is why you're not going yet, because this is the next phase with the work that you'll be doing through it. So I received that with gratitude and really, really grateful for it. And then the other part of it was clearly that time that was very necessary for my brother and I to be with each other. Also, it's like, okay, well, grateful. Mariam just totally thought about you about Costa Rica. We didn't think Costa Rica would be it, but somehow we are here. We are near Arenal volcano is there, which has erupted, and it is 222 StarGate, and it is a pretty high elevation here. So we know we're going to be anchoring some light codes here. And yesterday, as we arrived, it was so interesting. Right away with my phone, I said, "Let's look for pizza, Michael. Let's go get a pizza. We're hungry before we go anywhere else." And I put it in. This nice taxi driver took us to this pizza place, and as we went to this pizza place. Apparently, it was closed, and next door to it was this sort of like not a pocket, like a little
Health food.
health food type of store with kind of like shamanic things and crystals and aromatherapy. And I went in there, and this guy Maximilian was there, so we asked him at that pizza place, and he said it was closed. And right away, we had this incredible bond. He was an indigo crystal being from the also working with the Blu-ray, and he knew he's anchored here. He also works with codes, and there was this like incredible bond, and we knew right away, okay, here we go. The synchronicity has begun. We're here exactly where we're supposed to be. It wasn't our choice at all. but some of the choice was created for us to be here and just these living codes that we've tapped into with the diamond frequency, just bring them here for now, and also allow our our bodies just to rest, and that's it. Service just to us this
Yeah.
8 days.
Hello, Nicholas. Thank
Hi,
you for joining
Nicholas.
in. I also want to just uh, pick up on that is one message that's been coming through in, and I really want to go back to what we were saying earlier is the acceptance of when when we are fixed or we have a plan of really the ease and grace of our own energy to move through that. And I feel that is a very important element because a lot of times when we resist, when we fight, it creates so much energy in our fields to pull us down and to really just accept that when these moments come up, how important it is to honor the compassion, the love, the nourishment, to just really say it's okay. It's okay to allow these things because in the human mind, the condition, it's very easy to get hard on oneself, be very critical, be very upset, and to really step beyond that and look at wow, in all of our lives, we know that we've left the house and may have forgotten something. We have gone on a trip and we've forgotten something, or maybe something was canceled the last moment. In each of our moments, we have a choice to either accept it or to resist that. And I find that in our acceptance, there's this natural flow. There's this fluidity with the universe that as we move with this flow, as we allow this, then even a larger energy unravels, and then we even evolve even deeper into it. No matter where we go or what we do, there's just this breath. There's this ease. There's this grace, and so I find that what I'm so honored in this situation is not only was there an acceptance with it, but then there was also this ability to go deeper, which I feel this time frame will be to not only look why it happened, but just see the reasonings of what we all need in our American fast paced society is to slow down, to rest, and really to honor ourselves as we all give so much service and we give so much that at times we just have to really hit the pause button and take that time for ourselves and honor ourselves so that we can be in our fullness of our truth and our actuality of it because sometimes we just forget how much energy we are when we are in constant movement, in constant space. And I find that one reason why I feel Costa Rica did give us this opportunity to go here is because it is at a slower energy and it doesn't
Yeah.
have the same type of energies that Brazil has, which we know.
We would have been in a
We would have
lot of
been
movement and
a
a
lot of
lot of
pull,
service, and
and we were
yeah.
we were going there in a way that yes, Carnival was coming, but we were going to be out of Carnival, but just to really honor that, you know, in life, and I like what you said, and tell you, there's acceptance versus resistance, and there's a way that how can we move through that in each and every day? How can we move in that in each moment? A lot of the things that we look at through our whole life, if we haven't fully accepted that, it's going to still be chained to us till we fully let that go. And really, what comes down to it that I find is how easy is it? And this is something that I'm asked for everyone. When you are so excited, when you're so passionate, when you're just on the edge to just go to a place that your heart's filled up.
And you invested your time, energy, and your money. You put money aside to
Yeah.
do this, and then everything is taken.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? How
And
do you think you handle that? Yeah.
how do you handle it? But here's the most important thing. How do you let it go without it eating you up,
Yes.
without it creating some type of disharmony? It's okay to feel the disappointment, to feel the wow, I can't believe this happened. It's all right to have the normal human experience, but really to give ourselves the permission and the ease and grace of letting things go. And I find this was probably one of the biggest tests that we've ever gone through in the sense of travel planning organization with so much that we were going into to let that go and then step back from it and be like, wow, how was that for us? And not only to let it go, and then even go from the high of letting it go and then into the into the bottom of then seeing where, if any of you have ever understood of creating a last minute travel, and yes, Doreen, trust that wherever we're supposed to go, the universe is going to show that no matter how expensive the tickets are last minute, no matter how few places there are to stay, no matter how upset we are looking at the abuse of what it is to be in a warm culture during the winter time, because every place is at least a couple $100 to stay in a beachfront property, if not.
Couple, Michael.
But yet trust that whatever happens, we're supposed to go with that, because the mind and the ego wants to constantly battle the woulda, coulda, shoulda, and then hindsight, we look back and saying, wait a minute, if only this happened, and constantly process it. I find that these tests are daily tests, but when placed into the highest plateau of when you're really ready to have everything prepared, and then all of a sudden the smallest but yet largest piece of the trip is pulled away from you on a time that there's no mail, on a time where consulate is closed, and a time where the airline doesn't even choose to refund you or reschedule. How is your reaction going to be? And for me, what I always see, and I love how Honey says this a lot, is we have a choice. We have a choice to come from love. We have a choice to come from fear. And we both know that we're all here to express love to our highest level. And know at times when we are in our most emotional capacity, yes, to express love when we're in our most favorite moments of life is the ease and grace. How can we also express that love when we're in moments where we may have not chosen to be? How can we express that gratitude and thanks where we're in times where everything is like, okay, we're going to pull all this away and still look at the gratitude of, well, it's we still have everything that we can possibly do. We have our feet to walk. We have our hands to serve. We still have the ability to do. It's just we're now limited in a time frame to move forward. So I find trust, acceptance, surrender, and just the big pieces that I find a lot of us go through are brought forward in those moments where it can be in a second where darkness can come in and allow an energy to take something as simple as a visa, which we know we're very grateful just to be with each other in Miami, very grateful to have the opportunity to travel, take nothing away from those that don't have the opportunity, but yet take 1 second to allow a dark energy to come in and unravel everything as it's already been unraveled. That to me,
I feel that was amazing because I love everything you shared, Michael. And what is important on a when we take 2 or 3 steps back, living from a conscious mind, a conscious heart, living from the fifth dimensional frequency, living from the living codes of light is an actual state of beingness. There's one thing to know it, there's one thing to think it, there's one thing to, okay, but there's another thing when you apply it. So, loving universe presents these opportunities, and then you have the ability and the choice to exercise the higher dimensional aspect of you within what's been created so that you can bring that higher awareness into what probably from our third dimensional consciousness or the past we would have gotten so pissed off, we would have been so mad, we would have been like, oh my god, we can't get another, we lost all this money. Those are hawks, by the way, they're not eagles. Thank you, spirit. And and they have a powerful message because when we fly high, we also need to come down, land, and go up high and land. And what's important is that anchoring. You got to bring this anchoring energy in. And I feel this gave an opportunity for Michael and I with this diamond codes. He's activated in the transmission. I'm activated in these new living codes of light. And you have to live it. You have to exercise it. And you're going to be given circumstances exactly such as this. This was yet another initiation test. Okay, here we go. They're like sitting around laughing. Ha 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 ha. Okay, here we go. You plan everything for a month. You spent this much money. You have all of these organized to the T. We're going to pull the rug under you. Let's see, can you stand or are you going to fall apart? And I feel we stood great. We did wobble. We certainly wobbled, but we stayed so freaking amazing. And I said to I was like, Michael, my grandmother always used to say, let all the problems in the world be money, not your emotions, not your mind. Everything else you can do. I was like, wow, we have each other. No freaking problem. We have the house in Miami, my family house. We're here. We get to spend the time with my brother. We got this working. And then, so right away, we took the next steps to see what could be addressed, and we knew this 222, like the 222. So you have the four, which is in the center of it. Everything is relation, relation, relation. The entire month, if you saw the earlier video of this month of February, is the two energy. The two energy is bringing everything into the state of balance and relation. Then you have 22, which is this mm, gateway of the mastery. Then you have it in each of the directions. You have the four. You've got to anchor this. So what does that mean? All relations have to be in balance, and I feel that's what was given to us. Are we able to see that? And also taking personal responsibility. I told Michael, I said, Michael, through this, there's a personal responsibility that I'm taking. I have been of tremendous service. So I have to just slowly bring it back a little bit more, just to create a balance, bring more of my art, because it's exactly like physicians when they're working too much, they haven't slept. There's one tiny little move can create a damage. I said I'll take that responsibility because oh, hello, darling. So there, this is what's beautiful when these ones come. They're taking away the negative energy that was spoken of. Thank you so much. So within one little month, when if you haven't rested well, these also can happen. So there's a personal responsibility, and that's what we really also spoke with. What can we both take away? I'm waiting for Michael to really also address that, and to truly cherish what is before us right here in this moment without going too far into the future of it when things fall apart. And um, uh, we really feel the loving universe presented us, gifted us for us to bring even her dimensional, fifth dimensional, and higher frequency into where we were in Miami, that portal, into what we experienced, just to spread the love of it. We weren't mad at the um, the airport before. We were mad at. We didn't take any frustration out of anything. If anything, we went got a massage with my brother. We made food together. We really stayed in love, and I feel. And we also did discuss a few things that really needed to be discussed between us. And I felt these are these are the true gifts. These are the true abundance when you feel you're abundantly gifted and universe has your back, not is against you. This didn't take away. And I said, Michael, you know what? Maybe because these refund, and it's so interesting. So we booked the just the fire. We booked a place last minute for these first 2 nights, and it was non-refundable, almost $500, and it was so $430, 30 some dollars, and and something for a second told me to look. I looked at the review. It was like the worst review, and
Several of them.
several of them, and they weren't going to refund us too. I said, okay, that also had to go. So we let it go too, that one. And so that's what it is. You're constantly being given test after test after test. The more you expand into your high vibrational state of being, you're going to have to bring the higher dimensional state of being into the areas within you that have been contracted and limited, so you too expanded. So we kind of like exactly like that hourglass. So as above, below. Again, that's why we're in this 222 energy. Everything has to be a total match frequency.
And first, I want to say hello, Simone.
Hi,
hello,
Erdem.
Erdem from Istanbul. And I love what you said, Nicholas. When you shift in the love and abundance, the universe bends and shifts and work out. I even find that the illusion of life, what paints forward, is another element, because in what we may see as a loss is just an illusion, because nothing is really being taken away. Nothing is being really, removed from us. It's just a choice of where to go next, where to move from this, how to react from it, because many times our limited mind may perceive if we're not getting,
Which lens we're
yeah,
looking
which
at.
lens we're looking at, we may not be getting what we want. We may not be getting in our own limited perception of what's working out when there is actually a higher path or even a different plan, a higher plan that's giving us the opportunity just to shift the perspective. And the perspective that we really saw, which I love in the abundance and love, is just the gratitude that we are able to move through these situations and really support one another, support each other. And what I really saw personally why this happened is really to look at our health and
Mm.
well-being and see that, being on, being down for a week and really honoring our health and well-being, like this vessel, this body, we can do so much with it. And yet at the same time, we can push it so far. And we forget that, this vessel can go without food. It can go without water. Yet when we are serving so much and doing so much at the same time, that vessel can also come
Absolutely.
barreling down. And I really find this is a moment where we really honor and recognize what our health and well-being is, not to take for granted what it is. Even, a week before we left, to honor the hydration we place into our body, to honor the rest we place, and really to place the monumental balance and harmony of what is being given, what is being receiving, and how to work this, because we're all working in many forms, many realities, very multidimensional, and how common in our day and age that rest sometimes gets the back seat, because in our conditioning programs we see that the more productive we are, the more busy we are, the more we're doing, creates this element that we're moving forward. Yet sometimes just stepping back, resting, and really honoring the system, that hit me hard because I could not remember the last time I went down for a week without any ego,
Yes.
without any sense of. But I told Honey, especially being in the health and just years and years of education of just honoring the body, I could not remember a week where I was like walking around just dazed and like what is moving through, and to see that what a gift the universe gave in in the opportunity not to go to Brazil, because that body would have been stretched even more.
Yeah.
What a gift it is to see, as many people do, as myself and even as my dear beloved, of how busy and full of service it is, that stopping and really taking that moment to honor rest, to honor peace, and most important, to honor the balance that we do every day, because sometimes we forget that the amount of energy we expand out and give out. Imagine what would happen if we give that same amount of energy equally, or if not more, back to ourselves, then at what energy we could operate at. And I find that this is a big one, because what I'm taking away from it is learning and going deeper into seeing what can be done, just to find a sense of balance, so there's not a sense of push and pull of what has to get done very quickly, but just to honor each day of what's moving through our health and systems, because again, our bodies can take so much, and,
Yeah.
and, and it can go so far. And I feel honored that we can still be in a place that we can rest. We can be in a very quiet place. We drove 2 hours in a illegal Uber in Costa Rica, which obviously they haven't accepted Uber, but we can still utilize our first world systems, and to honor what's around us. And I find this peace and balance for the next week is going to really help bring more in, because in that pace of just being present in this moment, that's when we really feel the trueness of what the universe is connecting to us.
Yeah, definitely. And we love to hear from you. We know so many of you have been going through tremendous amount of frequency updates on so many levels, and each of us are going through that because there is a collective clearing. I remember when we came back from our Europe tour, particularly that last week Morocco, I went through the 3 weeks update, and the team above said there were 3 waves of it. That the first wave of it was that October that I went through, then the second wave of it was in December, then third of it was about this end of January, beginning of February, where the system, the whole physical body, emotional, mental, everything is going through purging and purification. And there's a collective energy that we're going through just so that we can stay in our true vibration state of our beingness. And and anything that is within held within our emotional body has to be brought into and then brought into the physical body. So all of these are part of the alignment. And of course, in this month of February, because it's this two relation, again, the in as above, so below, as within, so without. So everything has to match that frequency. So there's one signal, one sound going out and matching. Wherever there's this disharmony is going to bring it, force it to become harmonized. And I feel in ours was this state of imbalance within how much we're of service to the outside, and then um, we feel we're of service to ourselves, but apparently is not enough of service to ourselves. So that had to really, we do take the time. There's quite a bit we do, but it needed to take the consciousness was to take it to another step further and really honor, or just honor this physical garment even greater, even better, because divine is really coming in to be housed in. So that's why that was not the time to be in Brazil with this new body. The new ray has to anchor, and I received that. And if that cost us several $1,000s as our way of receiving this message with gratefulness, we take it and thank you angels, thank you divine alignment, the way you brought it. Thank you for the opportunity that we had to talk. We got to talk so deeply with my brother, and I feel that's the thing. Are we able to do something awful happens that seems awful? Are we able to just right away invite gratitude in? And I feel that was the thing we did, and I feel that's what you're going to be given the opportunity too. The second it happens, are you able to say, wow, I'm so loved this happened? Not, oh my God, this happened, how horrible, but wow. And that was my first reaction. My first response, I was like, wow, wow, Michael, we just got like divine intervention. And what a different perception.
Mm-hmm.
Yet not at all denying the personal responsibility, accepting the personal responsibility, accepting what was just brought forth, and recognize there is a period you're going to go through many different layers and realms, because just as how divine is housing and coming in through the different dimensional fields, like coming in wherever the areas are tight, is going to the light is going to be pushed into it so it can come in. And I really feel that's what took place between us individually, and then so we can radiate this easily with peace. We're not doing it, it's happening through us. And and the and truly acceptance and trust, living in acceptance and trust. There's one thing to say it, there's another one to live it in action. And that's the fifth dimensional frequency that we're each being given in our way unique opportunity to live from.
Isn't it very interesting? And I find this can be for all of us. In our moments of greatest vulnerability, in areas where our health is not the highest, and even during these stargates and most powerful full moons, that the universe invites this perfect alignment of when things are just maybe in a very, very, very ultra state, that it gives that in heightened awareness just to really step back from it, because not only was
They're
health
agreeing with the spirit of the wind. Thank you, spirit of the wind.
not only is when we look at our health and we're in a state of vulnerability, but we just start to be what's not only happening in individual level, but what's happening on a planetary level, what's happening on a collective level. I know as you hear this, we're all moving through our own transformations. I find it very powerful, and the thing I keep learning about when these things arrive, especially with Honi, because as we know, with being beacons of light, as all of us are working, our lessons are hit a little more deeper, because the universe already sees this hyper awareness, so we can kind of catch it before we can. Yet, when we're in this pain, Miriam, when you're in this cold, as you see, when we're just in that state where it may be the hardest to find gratitude, 3 or 4 nights I could not sleep. and I was just so upset and still in that state of being upset, angry, warmth, to still even go deeper and to allow this feeling of gratitude and feel this level of acceptance of something is helping evolve even deeper without allowing the lower three chakras to pull you down into the feeling of,
But you did.
grounded.
We both had our that moment too. Because one of the nights, Michael was like, "I'm about to go crazy." He hasn't slept, and all week he's been like moaning in the sleep, like he can't. It's been so interesting, and we face certain things, and it's important to also face that within and move into that surrender place. So there was multiple level of things that was taking place before we even wanted to move to, I mean, go to Brazil. So I feel like everything was in preparation for us, and so we didn't have the opportunity to communicate to any of you because we were in it so deep. And interesting enough, there was really no internet at the house, and it was very, and we had to go to coffee shop and take care of what we needed to do right before us. So it's interesting.
And I start to appreciate now when looking at these and how all of us can just, when something like this happens, even though it may be hard to step back and keep stepping back further and keep stepping back further, but the less we can personalize, the less we can judge it, the less we can just be harsh on ourselves of trying to do the right thing, and just keep stepping back further and just observe and just watch and just see what is role playing in front. I find is one of the biggest gifts when these circumstances come up because it gives us a greater perspective and less limitations to get caught into it and then to really bring forth our natural state of that gratitude that's within our heart and then to feel what's going to come next because we know through this, as shifts happen, as we move, as we go through, and even larger doors open because it's one more test to accept, one more test to surrender, and really the biggest test to trust that everything is in perfect divine harmony.
And what another thing that's amazing is, like, for example, Brazil, we had a friend that was meeting us in Brasilia. So she orchestrated everything to meet us there. And it was amazing. Her stop was on full moon in Miami. Her and I got a chance to see each other. But her attitude was just in divine gratitude. She's like, "Honey, it's in divine's hands. No problem. I'm still going." I was like, beautiful. And just this love energy. There was no sadness shared. There was none of that. Just total trust. And the few individuals that were meeting in Brazil, in Florianopolis, my friends have been so excited to see. They were so gracious. They're like, "Yeah, we totally understand. It will happen." Perfect. So it was so beautiful that the beauty of it, you get to see how others are in response to that. And like my brother, my mother, Michael's mother, we felt so held, like, "Wow, look, Simon, tell us what happened. It's totally not a big deal. We'll do this and no problem." So, point being, we haven't been able to get on and share with you. It is an amazing, amazing day. Life is filled with mysteries, the ups and downs. You do have to go up, you do have to come down, and you have to always bring everything right in that center, right in that place where divine resides, and be able to choose to see it from that lens of divinity. We are working in ascension, so we're accessing our higher ascended state of beingness. That's why they call them the ascended masters, because the ascended masters are helping us rise to our higher ascended state. These are all part of it, because we can't let our old energy of the past be brought into these living codes that have brought forward to us, and those are truly the gifts of it. Hello, dear Christine, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Katerina. So, having said that, today at, let me see, in just a little while, 2 o'clock, we're going to sit in our meditation to be in the window of this beautiful peak of the Stargate at 2:22 p.m. It's going to be amazing, just to receive what we got to receive while we're in this mountain ridge, because we're higher. So communication is going to be a little bit more clear. And now we're in this settled state. We're finally here after several days of this, and the other part of it, we really want to hear from you. Um, how are you? Like really, how are you? Are you experiencing various, let's say, bumps in your life? And are you able to bring your love into each of these areas? Are you able to really live from trust, not think it, but in action? It seems like everything has to be in applied step, in applied action. And I feel those are the things. And sometimes you may have a little bit more than some of the other days, and that's okay too, because there is a self evaluation of the self ascension, because that's part of the whole collective ascension.
Isn't interesting? I love what you said. In that applied state, it's really given through our own reaction that the universe is there to watch and see how we're going to be. And our own reaction is based upon every single moment that things can shift, things can change, things can move. And it can be as simple as a cold, it can be as simple as a last minute change. And a lot of it, I really find that it's just very fascinating to look individually. How is my individual reaction? What is it within myself that I can even just learn and grow more? Because the more we can just honor what's happening and be okay with the reaction, yet at the same time see how we can draw more love and gratitude to it. It's our own personal ability just to learn more, love more, express more,
Yeah.
and just honor what has come forward. So it's really powerful to see what's happened, and knowing that for most cultures in this area, it is winter time. So in these darker nights, this is when we're visiting our shadows. This is when things come
Yeah.
up, and we know that even where we are, it's the coldest, snowy, ice, rain days where we're pushed to the edge versus those that live in beautiful sunshine levels. It's that time to really go within
Yeah.
and see what is coming up for you. How are you guys handling? Here we are midway through February, and it's been pretty chaotic out there. There's been a lot of energy moving through, I would
So
say.
let me ask you a question, and I'd like to ask some of you, those of you who have had your light code transmission activation with me that are on this call, and Michael, for you as well as myself that have had it, how would you say the light code transmission, that frequency that it moved you, helped you? Like I can only speak on myself, and I love to hear from you. With this, can you see if it had an impact?
Mm.
Like I feel when I draw the code and this experience, this space that I've entered into that still is being discovered, I really felt the most amount of love and protection I've ever experienced in my life. I felt, wow, I'm so loved and protected. Wow, just thank you. Just gratitude and thank you. Mm, And I really feel the living codes of light truly that I'm speaking and that I'm transmitting and that I'm bringing, whether they're in the light candles, the sacred candles, or I'm doing it on the session or it's in the group, is bringing these transmission and holds a certain frequency. There were certain things that had to be addressed, and the truth addressed. The truth had to be addressed with Michael. The truth had to be addressed within myself. Accountability had to be there, and at the same time, feeling so held, so trusted, and so loved was truly for me. And I love to hear from you, those of you. Michael, what can you say to
Well, I
others
would say,
respond?
it shifted my mental body incredibly because I was realizing before the transmission there was a lot of pressure that I was placing on myself just to move forward in the expansion of my own healing work, maybe some of the areas I wanted to move a little faster, and it really gave me the opportunity to honor what's in front of me, what's standing before me, and the ability to support one another, to really just feel the gratitude that everything before me is an opportunity to serve.
Mm,
And as much as I may have put pressure on when I wanted to move to my next expansion of healing, what I could do next, it really shifted of like what is already there. Everything is already there before you. So instead of getting upset of what's not there, it's been presented. So I feel that was the most immediate
mm,
effect.
nice.
Second, I also believe that it's interesting because when we have deep healing sessions, many of us believe that the more light that's shined to the body, it's also going to create a higher vibration so that it transforms all the darkness and moves everything outwardly, which, yes, it does. But at the same time, I also feel that when that light vibration manifests within your body, it also shines onto those areas of
On your
darkness,
own
on
areas, the
your own
shadow areas.
darkness. It's like kind of like when you're driving with your your high beams on. We make this joke, if you're driving with your high beams on, everyone's like, turn your lights out, because the metaphor is sometimes we're shining our lights so high that it blinds everyone else in that darkness. When we shine that light so high within ourselves, it reveals those hidden areas of darkness. So I feel that since
I feel
that,
that for
there,
your own and the group
right,
experience
it
brought
it
a
brought
lot.
it brought a lot up, and obviously, as many don't personally see, Honey runs on about a billion frequency and beyond in her galactic level, and as many know from my perspective, I run on
We have two
a
different
Mexican
operating
a
systems.
vibration of
He's
just
more chill. I'm
yeah,
very fast.
she's very fast. So there's this integration where she's
Yeah.
helping me speed up as I'm helping her slow down.
Yeah.
And so when I find, which is very powerful when we're traveling,
Yeah.
when she just
Yeah.
wants to go, and I'm just like, honey, we just got on vacation, let's just relax. That and just being in our own frequencies, we see what's being effective. Point being is, in that own transmission, it was really, really interesting to see that there was a lot of things that I was looking within myself. I was like, wow, there is some more frustration that was moving through my body, my frustration of my actual physical body in certain areas. I felt there was some moments of where I was just, it wasn't really the pace. I would probably say it was more just where I was in life. And so I would say judgment of myself came up through it. I would also say the ability of creating more time for myself. There's just little things that started to move through that I felt Honey spot out immediately, because her radar is much clear that as that light transformed, all of a sudden there were other areas that we all have that are hidden. And those hidden areas, then it comes more into your
Field of awareness.
And that can help transform even to a deeper level.
Thank you,
Self-love.
my love.
I really feel like the biggest
Higher
one
self.
was higher self-love, because that's
For both of us.
for both of
Yeah.
us, because there's such a passion. I know many of you feel this. There's such a passion when you can help someone and feel the beauty, no matter what happens. No expectation of healing treatment, but there's such a passion when you can help and serve. There's just this juicy feeling and resonance. Yet when we do that to a frequency out of imbalance, it really can start to drain and take away a lot of our natural joy and natural happiness. And when the plate is full and we're running at full speed, these moments really help allow us to step back. And I find within self-love of my own body, working out more, having the opportunity to sleep more, and just being in a place where it just feels like, okay, now I'm honoring myself more, because we forget to honor ourselves, or we feel guilty if we honor ourselves. So
Thank you,
those
my
were
love.
yeah.
Doreen said, thank you so much, Doreen. You said loving myself more and more. I'm so glad to hear that, because that seems to be the one coming up. And everybody so far that has had the light code transmissions, they automatically right away feel, wow, I'm so loved. And I'm just so honored to be the facilitator of it, just for that, this one time activation where people can really feel that. And Mariam, you're saying, I really love it when I draw the key and feel like it puts me in a special place, but I also feel leftover really is coming up to the surface, which has surprised me. Yeah, isn't it interesting? Of course, it's all part of it, because there's a there's like a time capsule, and then it starts coming up. And same with me, I feel like the super full moon brought few things up. I was like, perfect, let's go ahead and visit these. The other part that I'd like to just share very briefly, between the channeling, the masters event in beginning of February, and then having the Lycon transmission event, which is a week
Right.
apart. But with the channeling the masters, the amount of email that was sent with what the individuals experienced was so overwhelming for me, because I myself was going through my own stuff, like that frequency of this ascended master Hilarion that spoke through me. I mean, I for days I just cried. The frequency was so incredible that it was washing and moving through me. Then when I facilitated the light code transmission, activation group experience, I feel out of all these years that I've facilitated, I've facilitated so many events, so many of you have come to it. Somehow, this one was the most spectacular one for myself on a personal because it allowed me to rawly, in the most rawest form, express a lot of the personal experiences, then the teaching, then going to the transmission and just sing thank you. Sing what the thank you. I honor you. Hey, of course, so beautiful. Thank you, spirit of the bee. Everything is here. I'm losing um, focus now. So seeing that incredible gift from the people respond to how they feel validated, they feel they're not alone. Um, Touched me so I haven't even been able to respond because it's been so um, overwhelming when you live your total truth and you serve. Michael, this spirit of the bee is very powerful right now. Sweetie, what do we do with the spirit of the
I
bee?
think we just allow nature to be fully into
I,
it.
I
We
feel
just
that's a lot of.
we allow the nature. I love this bird
I
right here.
know.
Do you see the
No,
color
I
of
don't
it?
see what color it is.
It's a black. It's right on the point right there. Do you see it right there on the bar? It's
Oh,
yellow.
there it is. Well, let me take a picture for you guys. 1 second. I'm going to finish my thought. 1 second, everybody, because this
We
is
have a lot of
spirit.
nature going on. Welcome to Costa Rica
So, just
live
for those
stream.
of you that may not hear, I'm going to take a picture so you see it. Just
Maybe
so
I
that
can
you may
share
not.
those.
No, no, no. 1
There's
second.
this bird right here that you can maybe
So
see.
beautiful.
See it right
By
there?
the way, the birds, when they come up, they're here as the teachers. They're not here to clear karma. They're not doing any
Where
of
is
that. Just here to just every time you see one like this, it's here to confirm everything you're saying. Thank you. So this bird is confirming everything we're saying, and especially when I'm speaking about the rawest form of me when I was able to share my early experiences with them and with these higher dimensional beings, with the extraterrestrials, with the ships and all of that, and just coming from Middle Eastern, not feeling accepted as being this galactic star seed, and what an incredible experience that was for the group and for those star seeds that had come to feel validation. It was amazing. I'll be having another one on it is in April 6th at Rising Phoenix in Woodbridge, no, in Manassas, Virginia. I'm so honored. And then when I get back I shifted my ticket. I get back March 7th. Marco's going to stay a few more days to rest. I will be having all the people who are on waiting list. I have clients all lined up through March and April, and we'll be getting a few in. So I'm so excited to serve you and just support you in this best way because we're seeing the impact of it, how powerful it is. So thank you so much. Oh my God, what an honor. Yeah, it is Demetrius is definitely a sacred messenger. So incredible. Yeah, it's, yeah, exactly.
And we want to definitely just honor. I know, and a lot of this of what's been moving through is just to take this time to be with us. I know that many of us are in our busy schedules and there's things that are happening, so we just want to honor you guys following us for taking this time last minute for us to really come live, since we've been moving through quite a bit these past couple days and weeks, and now we have the ability to just honor each other and honor each other in what we're moving through, because our stories, your stories, our ability just to support one another really does help the transformations and help connect us so that we are there in the highest support, because there really is no distance or time. We're all here as in one in the stream of light. So however we can honor that, we are grateful that you're giving this time and space for us today in this moment where we just can be very grateful to
be in the
here
presence
the
of
presence
this messenger
of nature.
confirmation. So much love to all of you. It's one in the Eastern time. It's 1:30. We're gonna let you be so you can be in that 2 o'clock frame Stargate, and maybe you can sit through the 22-minute meditation. Just be in that window period. We're gonna get ourselves ready for that, and we missed you. We just missed you. We're grateful we can share here. Thank you so much for so many of you being here with us. And one of the things we decided to do, we love to be able to do the ascension the tea time, Friday tea time Ascension talk every week, and we both have really realized every other week works better for us. So
Creating space
we're restructuring, and me creating necessary time for the art is very important part of me. This what took place gave us both opportunity. Few things have to really be adjusted more, and that's part of that. So we'll see you every 2 weeks, and we're so grateful, so honored, and so excited to share and be with you. And we'll share more from here. What a beautiful spirit, God. So beautiful. We even have the spirit of the bee here that landed on my court and just bringing this bee medicine, the sweet nectar medicine. We're so grateful. So, Aho Namaste and Lakesh Banura Esh. Happy Stargate, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy wonderful Venus Friday. Happy the Venus energy is important, the Christed energy, and the dragons are helping us. May you just fully allow it and open the packages from the universe and know life loves you. Life is not against you.
As we send so much love, so many blessings from the beautiful mountaintop on Costa Rica, let us just bring these light codes, the energy, and this beautiful rays that comes through us, because as we know, the frequency and the ions are so powerful when we're in large places that we can extend outward. So we appreciate that ability to really bless this outwardly today on such a movement. Trust the bee's not going to do anything. Yeah. Remember your honey bee, it's not going to do anything. Just
I know, it was fun.
Trust that all of this is moving in its divine planning. But we want to honor the bee, honor the trust, okay? Trust that we can flow as we've all been flowing together to these moments as we send much love, much energy, and beautiful warm rays from this.
We don't have our angel cards or the Ascension cards, and here's a quick play for this. One moment. Yeah.
Just close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Okay.
I know how much you want to close your eyes, Michael.
Okay. It's nice when it lands on the clothes, on the skin. It makes it a little easier.
I know. Tikamaya kuatarame, tikamua turakua e, ikamaya tikuraku, turamaya kuatara e, tikarau kuatieki, ilamua kuatara e, tikamua taia kuarama e kuasi, likamua taraye, lakamua kuare, kayamua shuarakai, alamua turakaya, ayatia marakaya tia kuaramaya e, Akamuatura elakia tia surakaya ayati lakamia turo ayakia tala lakamuakwarati ikimate ikiake iyulake iyatame iyatayu uyokwa iyakia mayati. Thank you so much. May God's grace fully be touched by each of our higher bodies, each of our physical bodies, each of our emotional bodies, each of our mental bodies, each of our etheric bodies, each of our spiritual bodies, each of our presence in all different dimensions, consciousness, planes, fields, and multiverses. May we fully allow the divine that is us, the truth that is us, to be embodied, brought forth, so that we can truly shine the grace of love from within through its diamond frequency, in its full presence, in its full reflection, and allowing the beauty and the virtues of divine that we come from be aligned in balance within our human form, bridging this gap from our spirit to the physical in this vibration of the two, this two energy, this incredible vibration of unity in this alignment and this gateway, the triple gateway of 222, allowing it to allow us to see the mirrors within ourselves so deep, so courageously, and choosing to love every part of our being so that we can experience and gift ourselves this ability to love everybody else with all of their aspects and their beings, even in their shadow side. We're so grateful to the land. We're so grateful to Gaia. We're so grateful to the spirit of the wind, the spirit of the earth, the spirit of fire, the spirit of water. We're so grateful to the plasma rays and this 222 Stargate. May it anchor properly into us. May it be gentle and graceful. May we handle it so carefully, so beautifully. May we be honored by these gifts and bless it and choose to live from its love. Thank you so much. Aho namaste and lakesh banura ish. Hash hash. Have a beautiful day. Speak to you soon. And if this resonated with you, thank you. Leave your comment in the comment section. If you love the message, please share it. We just love to hear from you. We love to hear you on the chat. We love to hear your comment on the comment section. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye.